detective we sent for?
Yes, I'm the detective.
Oh, thank goodness. Let me just open the door for you. Well, it's about time the police sent someone out to investigate. We have many important residents and they are very worried.
I'm here now. We'll get to the bottom of this.
I cannot tell you what a relief it is, Detective. I've learned the moods of our patrons well enough to tell you the tensions are high. They're at the crime scene again.
Sounds like trouble.
Don't they realize that they're going to disturb the evidence? You'd better come with me, Detective.
What the hell do you think you're doing? This is a crime scene.
Do you not see the glory of the thing? The artistry.
What the hell is wrong with you?
Excuse me.
Ezra, you have outdone yourself. This is your finest work. There is more emotion on his death than most have had in their entire lives.
Our friend is dead, Mr. Avita. Have you no respect?
I'm just saying that at least he had the decency to make a spectacle of it. There is nothing worse
Please, if
than
I may.
That's
If
what
I
this
could
is
just
to you?
have your attention.
You're sick.
I'm sorry for shouting. But the detective has arrived and shall begin the investigation henceforth. Please return to your rooms until the detective has examined the crime scene and had a chance to come speak with you. Have a look at the crime scene for clues. When you're ready, we will discuss it. You are free to question the residents. Their safety is our priority. So unless you have solid evidence, I would avoid accusations.
Protect and serve.
Looks like the brain enclosure was smashed. Is this blood? Nice. A baseball bat. What is this doing here?
Hello again, Detective. Was there anything else?
Tell me about the victim.
Mr. Ezra Parker was the primary owner and financier for the hotel. He had vast experience managing venture projects around the world. It was his idea to have our premier clients become investors in the vault section of the hotel. He worked with Vault Tech to have this built to their every specification. Was there anything else?
Your residents are robots.
Not robots, Detective. Well, not exactly, anyway. I believe the term they use is robo-brain. Back before the war, the residents decided the best way to wait it out was to put their brains inside robotic chassis. Was there anything else?
I found the murder weapon.
Oh no. That's the bat from Mr. McKinney's movie. You don't think he could be involved, do you? I can't imagine him ever doing such a thing. Was there anything else?
I'm not sure where I should start.
I suppose you should try to figure out how he died, and then who had the means and motive to kill him. Once you have enough evidence, then I suppose you'll need to confront the killer. Was there anything else?
Never mind.
I'll be here, should you need me.
better luck, huh?
Progress on construction of the second wing of the vault is completely stalled. Once the premier area of the vault had been completed, funding seems to have been cut off. My supervisors have informed me that they haven't received payment from Mr. Parker, and Vault-Tec won't pay out of pocket to continue construction. I've repeatedly approached Ezra about the finances, but he keeps telling me that Mrs. Riggs hasn't transferred the funds. However, when I asked her, Juliana said that she had just given Ezra extra for the gold paint in the rooms. I've hired an investigator to look for signs of embezzlement in a few weeks.
Sounds like Ezra was embezzling from his investors.
Hello, Detective. Did you need something? Need to restock on hunting or fishing supplies?
I've got a few minutes to browse.
Something for everyone. Welcome to the Vault 118 gift shop. Looking for a gift to bring back to that...
Sure. Let's take a look.
Let me know if you... Welcome to the Vault 118 gift shop. Forgot a personal item at home.
Did you have any thoughts on the case?
I'm afraid not, Detective. Perhaps you'd better speak with Maxwell for that. Forgot a personal item at home.
What have you got?
Keepsakes, hunting equipment, and a variety of small personal items. Looking for a gift to bring back to that special someone?
I don't think so. Got it.
Hey, you mind keeping an eye out for a second? Gotta run a diagnostic. Whew. Thanks. What'd they miss?
He helped me out of a tight spot or two is all.
I couldn't stand by like some pasty-faced Percy while he put the moves on my best girl.
But now the law is on our tail. What are we going to do?
Come away with me. Let's leave this dark hole of a city behind. We can be in Buenos Aires by tomorrow.
Oh, I want to believe you, I do, but never let us go.
Then we'll make our stand here. I've got a gun for each of us.
No, 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 no. The line is, then we'll make our stand here. Two lovers together with a bullet for each of them.
God, why can't I ever get that line? Forget it. I can't do this right now.
Ugh, fine. I'm going to the beach. Well now, if it isn't the brave detective, I haven't seen someone with a body like that in far too long.
You're not so bad yourself.
You should have seen me before all this. Red hair that was the envy of every girl and legs for days, darling. I'm sure you'd rather hear some of my stories from the silver screen rather than talk about that nasty murder business.
I must say, you're quite the actress.
What can I say? It just comes naturally. Care to hear some of my stories, detective?
Have you ever done radio? Your voice is quite enchanting.
Well, darling, say your cards right. Maybe I'll whisper some sweet nothings in your ear. Surely you must be here for my salacious stories of the silver screen.
I must say, I've known flesh and blood girls who aren't half the woman you are.
Keep it up, Tiger, and we'll find out if you can handle how much woman I am. Care to hear some of my stories, detective?
Why don't we grab a bottle of wine and go watch the sunset?
Sounds good, detective. That was great, detective, but we probably shouldn't make a habit of this. Catch you later, Tiger.
Hello, Detective. How can I help? Did you have questions about the case?
Did you have any thoughts about the murder?
It's obviously Santiago. He keeps going back to look at the crime scene.
I found your baseball bat at the crime scene. Care to explain how it got there?
Someone is clearly trying to frame me for the murder. It's probably Santiago. You saw him skulking around the crime scene.
What were you and Gilda talking about when I walked in?
Oh, we were just rehearsing a scene. Nothing to worry about.
Maybe later.
Okay. Just let me know how I can help.
Protect and serve.
What the?
Art and life. Without it, we are no different than animals.
If all we are is a sentience floating in a suit of flesh, or metal, I suppose, then art is the only true communion with the world. Come with me. Tell me, what does this piece say to you?
It's about composition, the balance of colors and emotions, and the struggle to maintain internal order.
Indeed. This was the last piece I did in a series of portraits of Gilda, number 1378. Her emotional landscape is superimposed on the portrait. The reality of the subject is distorted as the ego attempts to project itself this way. Daniel, what does this one say to you?
It's the war. Bombs from every direction. No up or down. The world turned on its head.
I suppose in a way it must be. Art shapes the world, and the world shapes art in return. All art must therefore be constantly reborn through the lens of contextual and historic interpretation. We must ascend.
Just picture the cats.
And what about this one? And please be honest, for art without honesty is just politics.
This is bullshit. You're talking out your ass and wasting my time.
Got it in one. Truth be told, this is my best-selling piece. I did this series under a pseudonym, of course. This series has made more money than any of my serious works. And I think the whole thing is a lark. What does that tell you about the value of art to the common man? My fellow connoisseur of the arts. Get to see my latest work.
Tell me about yourself.
What is there to tell? I am one of the premier artists in the world. My work is primarily in oil paint, but I have been known to do sculpture or performance art as well.
I think you should explain why you keep returning to the crime scene.
It's for inspiration, detective. The others do not like to think about it, but even we shall die someday. Like Prometheus' torch, it kindles within me the fire to create as much art as I can with the time that I have.
It sounds like you've done a lot of paintings of Gilda. Why her?
Our Gilda is a very singular creature, detective. Do you not see the joie de vivre from within her? I have never met another who clings to life so tenaciously, who lives so in the moment. I must admit I was quite smitten with her for a time.
You're still in love with Gilda, aren't you?
So what if I had? What business is it of yours? She deserves someone who truly understands her ephemeral beauty, not a brute actor.
Did you have any thoughts about the murder?
The person you should be looking at is Juliana Reeves. That Philistine would not go out from her own excrement. She and Ezra had a rather dramatic fight recently. You could hear her banshee screeches all the way across the hotel.
What were Juliana and Ezra arguing about?
I don't know. I was painting at the time and I was trying to block it out. So I think Gilda probably heard them. Maybe I should check with her.
Maybe later.
Good. I hope my paintings are able to open your mind to new possibilities.
Hello, Mr. Whiskers. Who's a pretty kitty?
Juliana, Mr. Whiskers died last month. This is Scruffy.
Mom could go off in this place and no one would be the wiser.
Of course. Silly me.
Just let me have a look at the neural interface matrix, and I'm sure I can clear that.
No, it's not that. I've just caught another cold. Probably something that got in when they sent Pearl out.
Oh, God. Not this again. Last month you were convinced you had the measles.
You're not a doctor. What would you even know about it? Besides, I think it may be malaria.
First of all, I am a doctor.
Yes, but not a real doctor. Robotics isn't an actual medical degree.
Secondly, I've told you time and again, you can't get sick inside the suit. It's not physically possible.
I know when I'm getting sick, Bert. Now why don't you just wander off and play in your lab? Mr. Scruffy and I are going to rewrite the will. So he will get everything when I die because horrible Bert didn't believe me.
Oh, God, Juliana. Whatever. I'm going to the lab. Did you need something?
Tell me about yourself.
Oh, well, I'm a scientist. You've probably met my wife, Juliana, already. Not sure what else to say, really. Was there something else, Detective?
Tell me about your research.
Well, I was one of the leads on the team that created the first robo-brains, the precursors to our model. Most people don't find it all that interesting, and I'd rather not bore you. Was there something else, Detective?
I'd like to hear more about your research.
Oh, wonderful. No one else here really wants to talk about it. Functionally, This model is more or less the same as the previous versions I worked on, but without the neural inhibitor and the reconditioning. The voice modulator seems to have some minor issues interfacing with the neural matrix, which can add some moodiness. But that's easily solved with regular tune-ups. Was there something else, Detective?
I'd like to hear more about your research.
I'm afraid that's really all I should say about it. I mean, it is still classified, but I wanted to help with the investigation. Was there something else, Detective?
I heard that Juliana and Ezra had an argument a few days before he was found dead. Tell me about that.
Well, I was in my lab at the time, so I didn't hear it. But Juliana has always been rather critical of Mr. Parker. I think she found something in the overseer's office. I wasn't listening when she told me about it. I kind of had my head in my research. I don't know, really. I try to let her handle all the money stuff. Was there something else, Detective?
Robo-brains have a voice modulator. Tell me about that.
That's what allows us to recreate our original voices. They can mimic any normal human voice, actually. I've speculated for some time that the issues we had with our recruited subjects is due to the brain attempting to preserve a sense of self. Maintaining our original voices helps reinforce the neural network, sort of like playing music for an Alzheimer patient. Was there something else, Detective?
Did you have any thoughts about the murder?
Oh, well, that's not really my field of expertise, but I'm sure there are probably some clues at the crime scene. Was there something else, Detective?
Maybe later.
Very well. I'll just get back to my work then.
Hello, Detective. Did you have a question about the heinous murder?
Did you have any thoughts about the murder?
If you ask me, it's one of those actors. Or that horrible painter. Their type is always the cause of violence.
I heard you had a big fight with Ezra a few days ago. Care to explain?
Oh, well, it wasn't that big a deal, really. He wanted more money to pay for repairs on the hotel. I wasn't feeling well that day and lashed out a bit at the poor man. I really should have listened to him more.
I found some evidence that Ezra was embezzling from you and the other investors.
Oh, well, I really don't believe that. Mr. Parker wouldn't do such a thing, I'm sure.
What's with all the junk in here?
These are our things. We're just waiting till the war blows over so we can bring them back to the mansion.
Maybe later.
Good luck catching the murderer, Detective. Hello, Detective. Did you have a question about the heinous murder?
I think you're the real murderer.
That's just silly, Detective. Why would I want to kill Mr. Parker?
Ezra was embezzling your money. That's why you killed him and framed Keith.
You were so close, Detective.
It's a shame. I thought I could keep the ruse going a little longer. Oh, well, had to end eventually, I suppose. This doesn't have to end in more violence, Detective. Just walk away. I'll leave, and you can tell them I escaped.
If I'm gonna let you go, I want a cut of what you've stolen.
So it's like that, eh? Fine. I'll grease your palm a bit, Detective. Now, am I free to go?
Okay, I'll let you go.
Well, I'm glad you decided to be reasonable. I would have hated for this to come to more bloodshed. All right, Detective. Tell Maxwell that it's over and get your reward. Then I'll make my way out when things have died down.
I think we ought to talk.
Something the matter? You sound upset.
What? Oh, no. We've just been traveling a while now, and I figured there hasn't gotten a decent glimpse into your... I figured I'd offer to balance the board.
So
That's a question I've been trying to figure out myself for a long damn... But I'm still mechanical, not by my memory scheme. Hey,
that's terrible. They really just threw you away?
Hello again, Detective. Was there anything else?
I found that he killed Juliana, and he's been impersonating her.
Oh, my. I'll notify the staff and we can put an end to this once and for all. Why not let the beasties loose? You hear me coming? Now I have to fight. Bloody It's finally over. Here you are, Detective. Payment for your services and a bonus for uncovering such a heinous plot. I don't think we could have done it without you.
Heads up.
You got time to talk now?
Is something the matter? You sound upset.
What? Oh, no. We've just been traveling a while now, and I figured there hasn't exactly been equitable distribution of information. Gotten a decent glimpse into your dirty laundry, but you still don't really know a whole heck of a lot about me. I figured I'd offer to balance the board. So, is there anything you want to know?
So who are you?
That's a question I've been trying to figure out myself for a long damn time. I know I'm a synth, authentic Institute handiwork, but I'm still mechanical, not bioengineered like the fancy synths giving everyone the willies these days. I get tune-ups now instead of checkups. My memories, my personality, they're all lifted from some cop who volunteered for an experiment back before the war. They scanned his brain and copied it onto the hardware that runs between my ears. I don't know why they chose to make a robot based on some pre-war cop instead of a math genius or a bioengineer. Hey, maybe that's why the Institute tossed me in the garbage instead of turning me into one of their people snatchers.
Wait, the original Nick was from my time?
Sure was. Which meant when I finally ended up out here, it was quite the rude awakening. I remember waking up one day in a garbage heap, a body in tatters and a head full of memories belonging to a man who'd been dead for 200 years. Suffice to say, it was a confusing couple of weeks. Folks didn't really know much about synths back then, so when I finally ran into people, they mostly treated me with caution rather than hostility. But the kids, they weren't afraid. I think his name was Jim. first person to actually speak to me after I got the boot from the Institute. My first human contact in this world. Grilled me for an hour. Once they'd seen I wasn't going to hurt anyone, the other folks in the neighborhood came out to ogle the mechanical man. It eventually turned into a pretty swell soiree. Local mechanic even gave me a once-over free of charge. Those people, they treated me like a human being. I've been trying to return the favor ever since. It's a surprisingly rare trait out here sometimes. It's something I've noticed you got a fondness for. Part of the reason I've stuck around this long.
If you're good to people, they'll be good back. That's something I've always believed.
Couldn't agree more. Well, I expect you're about as bored as can be listening to me rattle my skeletons. You should probably head out.
Good day to you.